is snowball sampling. Again, this is an important part of the purposive sampling because this is fulfilling the characteristics of the purposive sampling. So, other consideration in qualitative in sample size determination, multiple replications, it enhances the generalization when non-random sampling is used. Maybe use of greater than 1 FGD. Ecological generalization may also be used to generalize other settings, conditions that may be the usage of method tested in the maths for the English class. Sample size determination in quantitative study, several criteria will need to be specified to determine the appropriate sample size, where level of the precision, level of confidence, degree of variability, external validity. All these are the very important parameters or determining factors for the sample size determination, because sample size determination is very important for the study. Through this sample size determination, you came to know that how much respondent or how many respondents need to be selected out of the given population. Level of precision is representing, sometimes it is also called as a sampling error, where range in the in which the true value of the population is estimated to be. This range is often expressed in percentage point, maybe lesser or greater than 5%. Confidence level is based on the idea of encompassed under the certain central limit theorem, where it is representing the 95% confidence level is selected. 95 out of 100 samples will have the true population value within the range of the precision. Degree of variability refers to the distribution of attributes in the population. The more heterogeneous a population, the larger number of the sample is required. As I told you, the less variable, more homogeneous a population is, a smaller size of the sample. Here, a proportion of the 50% indicates a larger number of the validity or variability than either 20% or 80%. This is because the 20% or 80% indicates a large majority do not or do respectively have attribute of the interest. Because of the proportion of 0.05 indicates the maximum variability in the population. It is often used in determining the more conservative sample size. This is, sample size may be larger than if true variability in this population attribute were used. So the sample size affects the accuracy of representation. Larger number means lesser number of the error. Means this sample size is accurately representing the correctness of the study. You can say like if your sample size is lesser, then there is higher possibility of the error. Means sample error. If your sample size is larger, it is representing the chances of error are lesser. So minimum suggested sample size is 30 and upper limit is 1000. 1000 is for undefined population and 30 is for defined population. If I'm talking about the upper limit, it is representing that your population is even though having number of units, but we cannot count this. But we can count if I'm saying we can count, but it is not feasible for the researcher to count each and every unit. So we are saying that 1000 is for undefined population. External validity is how well small sample generalized to population a representative sample is required. Strategies for determining the sample size. There are several approaches to determine the sample size using the consensus for sample population, limiting the sample size of similar studies using the published table, applying the formula as to calculate the sample size and use the computer software, that may be API info series. So all these are very important approaches, or you can say the different approaches to determine the sample size according to the study. Using the census for the small population, where one approach is to use the entire population as a sample, although the cost consideration make this impossible for the large population. Attractive for small population is 200 or less. Eliminate the sampling error and provide the data on an individual in the population. The cost, such as questionnaire design and developing the sampling frame, are fixed. This is they will be same for the samples, maybe 50 or 200. Finally, or virtually, the entire population would have to be sampled in small population to achieve a desirable level of precision. Using a sample size for the similar study. This is the use of sample size as those studies similar to one you plan. Suppose you are studying the uh, entrepreneurship in suppose as I have studied entrepreneurship in Haryana, and I want to study this entrepreneurship in Punjab also. So the sample size or sample determination may be vary, but not too much high in its nature. So without reviewing the procedure employed in these studies may run the risk of the repeating error there may be in determining the sample size of another study. However, the review of literature in your discipline can provide the guidance about the, as I told you, that literature review is very important for each and every step. For problem statement, for gap identification, for research methodology. So literature review is again very important and first step of the research. So another one is using the published data, where published table provides a sample size for the given set of criteria. It is necessary for given combination of the precision, confidence level, and variability. The sample size presumes that attributes being measured are distributed normally or nearly so. Although tables can provide a useful guide for determining the sample size, you may need to calculate the necessary sample size for different combination of the level for precision, confidence, and variability also. So this is a sample size for means a precision level, where confidence level is 95%, P is 0.5%. So this is the population size. If it is 100, then sample means a precision level is 5% or 7% or 10%. This is precision level, as well as confidence level is represented. Means the precision level is representing the sample error, or confidence level is representing the confidence level of researcher in that sample, or means uh, means chances of success, you can say. This precision level is representing chances of failure, and confidence level is representing chances of success. So using the formula to calculate the sample size, where sample size can be determined by the application of one several mathematical formulas. Means there are so many formulas that you can use according to the requirement. So this is coherent equation that is given here on the screen. N0 is equal to Z square PQ divided by E square. Here, if I'm talking about the N0, that is sample size that you have selected for the study. Z0 is representing the abscissa for normal curve that cut off an area alpha. 1 minus alpha is representing the equals of the desired confidence, that is level of confidence or chances of the success. Maybe E is representing the desire of the precision, means level of error or level of failure. So P is representing the estimated proportion of the attributes that is present in the population. Q is 1 minus Q. Here the value of Z is found in the statistical table. which contains the area under normal curve, that is equal to 1.96. If your level of confidence or level of success is 95%, it will change if your level of confidence become 99%. So this is a Z value that is calculated by annuity table. Simplified formula for proportion. Here, this Yamne, the researcher, provide a simplified formula to calculate the sample size, where assumption is confidence level 95, P is 0.5. This is the formula. N is equal to capital N divided by 1 plus capital N into E square. Here, N is a sample size, where capital N is population size. Always you need to take care in your mind that small n is representing the sample, where capital N is always representing the population size. E is representing the level of precision, or you can say level of the error. So finite population correction of the proportion, where finite population correction is the proportion is necessary. If the population is small, then small size or sample size can be reduced slightly. It is because the given sample size provides the proportionately more information for a small population than for a large population. The sample size N0 can thus be adjusted using the corrected formula. Here n is equal to n0 divided by n plus n0 minus 1 divided by capital N. As I told you that n is representing sample size, n0 is representing the population size, where n0 is representing the sample size for infinitive population. Infinitive population, as I told you, when the number of respondent are even though calculatable, you can calculate, but it is a very cumbersome task for you to calculate. That's why we are using infinite population. We suppose I am working on the rural entrepreneurship in Haryana, or I am working on the consumer preference for repurchasing behavior of shampoo or cold drink. So both the studies are having the limited number of the people for the study. But the very important thing is, this is not easy task for me to count or to include every unit in my sample in my study. So that's why it is known as infinite population. Sample size formula provide a number of responses that need to be obtained. So that need to be obtained. Many researchers commonly add 10% to the sample size as a compensate for the person that researcher is unable to contact. That is ethics in the research. The sample size is also often increased by 30% to compensate the non-responses. Suppose you are forwarding the questionnaire or schedule to the respondent, and you are assuming that respondent will definitely forward this filled up questionnaire to you. But this is not possible that you will collect 100% results. So if for your study, if there is a requirement for 300 respondent, or suppose 400 respondent, in that case you need to increase the sample size by 30% to compensate the non-responses. To compensate the non-responses, not to justify your study. So usage of software in the sample size determination, depending upon the type of the study and specific software, some information will be required. Suppose population sample size, population standard deviation, population sampling error, confidence level, Z value, and power of the study. All these variables are required if you are selecting, or if you are means determining the sample size through any software. So all these variables need to be in your hand. 80% power of the clinical trial means that Means that the study
Dear
has
participants,
80%
kindly mute your
chances
mics. I request all participants to mute their mics, please. Yes, madam, please go ahead.
Yes, sir. So this is 80% chances of ending up with the p-value of less than 5% in the statistical test if there is a really very important difference then in between the treatment. So further considerations are the above approaches in to determine the sample size have assumed that the sample is determined a sample design. More complex design, the case control studies, one must take into account the variance of the subpopulation strata, cluster before the estimate, and variability in the population as a whole that can be made. So, sampling strategies in the quantitative research, where simple random sampling, there is a no need to explain this technique because every researcher is well aware about the simple random sampling, where every unit is having the equal chances to be selected for the sample for the study. Here, the stratified random sampling is ensure that small subgroup are represented. Means you are making the clusters or strata or groups or classes out of the sample, and normally the proportion of their part of the population break down the population into different stratas, then randomly select any strata. Strata is representing the group of respondent, and you are studying that strata deeply. Multi-stage sampling is also here. Cluster random sampling, where select the group as a sample unit rather than individual. Require a large number of the groups or cluster. Multi-stage sampling is also example here. Systematic or nth sampling, that is, you are first of all, you are arranging all the units, whether ascending order or descending order. Out of that arranged units, you are selecting any nth number. Suppose seventh unit, eighth unit, 10th unit, or any unit. After that, first unit is only having the options, means means only the first time sample selection is having where every unit is having the selection parameters or the chances to be selected in the sample. After that, every nth unit, suppose seventh unit is selected out of the first 10th unit. So it is these are the 10th unit which are having the equal chances to be selected in the sample. After that, it became non-probability sampling because every 7th unit, 17th, 27th, 37th units are selected by the sample. So here let's understand the measurement. It means assigning the number or other symbols to characteristics of the objects according to certain pre-specified rules, where we measure not the object but some characteristic object. Thus, we do not measure the customers only, the perception, attitude, preference, and other relevant characteristics. So, if here, let's understand about the scaling, where it may be. Kindly unmute yourself, participants. Kindly unmute yourself. It may be considered an extension of the measurement. Scaling also involves creating a continuum upon the measured objects are located. This scaling is process of placing the respondent on the continuum with the respect of their attitude towards bands. Means it may be the 7-point scale, or it may be 5-point scale, or it may be the whatever scale you are using. So primary scale of measurement, where there are 4 primary scale of the measurement: nominal, ordinal, interval, and ratio. These are 4 different scales that are used by the researcher for data collection. what basically scaling is representing. If you are collecting the data, then how you came to know that your collected data is relevant or not? Through scaling, because this is scaling which is representing, is there any validity in your data collected or not? There is no another parameter, only the scale is which is giving you the figure that okay, whatever the data you have collected, this is relevant according to your study. Otherwise, what is the usage of the study? So nominal data, ordinal data, interval, or ratio, what is difference in between these different parameters? So here the measurement scale is representing the non-metric, metric, and nominal, ordinal, and interval. This is the graphical presentation where nominal scale is a figurative labeling scheme in which the number serve only the label of the identification and classification of the objects. For example, the number of a number assigned to the respondent in this study constitute nominal scale: male 1, female 2, or female 1 or male 2. There is no difference in between these numbers. Means if I am giving 1 to male, I can give 2 to female, or vice versa too. There is no change in the value of the gender of the respondent if I'm assigning 1 or 2. So this is nominal data. And here the another this when nominal scale is used for the purpose of the identification, there is strict one-to-one correspondence between the number and the object, where each number is assigned to only one object and each object has only one number assigned to it. Means we cannot repeat. This is the example which is shown on the screen. If there are three players in the same game, one is having 7, another is having 11, another is having 3. So these 7, 11, and 3 are not influencing their performance in the running. So this is no matter where one is fitted in the number or not. So this is the common example included in the student registration at their college or university at the number assigned to football player or jockey in the horse race. In marketing researcher, nominal scales are used for the identification of the respondent brand attributes, bank, and other objects. Suppose this is the football player who is having 7 number t-shirt. This is having 77. This is having 73. There is no association between their t-shirt number and their performance. This is similarly happen on this horse jockey, which is who is having 8 number. This 8 number is not representing. So, let me. This 8 number is not representing that this jockey will perform according to his or her t-shirt number. So when we use the classification purposes, the nominal scale number serve as a label of the classes or category. For example, you might classify the control as group 1, experiment group as 2, the classes of mutually exclusively exhaustive. There is nothing. Examples are given here. Marital status and newspaper, television, all are example. Ordinal scale. Ordinal scale is an scale which is ranking the in which the number are assigned to the object to indicate the relative extent to which the object possesses some characteristics. An ordinal scale allows you to determine whether an object has more or less the characteristics than some other object, but not more or less. What exactly mean? Here the figure is given or the picture is given where hot, hotter, and hottest. This is order. First, second, third. 7th, 8th, 9th. Small, smaller, smallest. Means this is representing the order that you have given to the respondent to mark his or her responses on the given scale. So thus ordinal scale indicate relative position, not the magnitude of the differences between the object, where the object ranked first has more of the characteristics of compared with the object ranked second. But whether the object ranked second is closer second and poor second is not known. Means second means second. It doesn't mean that it is a poor second or it is second, closer second, or it is beyond the second. No, it's not. Common example of ordinate scale includes quality ranking, ranking of the team in the tournament. Suppose you are asking, suppose attitude, opinion, perception, preference. If I'm asking any respondent that what are the different variables which are influencing your repurchase behavior for any brand, so I'm giving the respondent different variables, and I'm asking respondent that okay, make an order, which variable is influencing you the most, and then second, and then third. He is, or the respondent is marking his or her response. Suppose first, second, third. This is ordinal, means or ranking response, order response, you can say. So these are all examples, nothing else. Interval scale, in an interval scale, numerical equal distance is given on the scale represent equal value of the characteristics being measured on the matrix. Here the example of this is this. This is the best example which is given here. Every unit is having the equal distance. 20 means 40 to 20, 20 0 20 to 0, 0 to 20, 20 to 40, 40 to 60, means equal distance is there. No discrimination in to continent. So this is example again. Interval scale, for interval scale you can study this. This is a self-explanatory, no, not the need to explain too much. Another one is ratio scale. A ratio scale causes all the properties of the nominal ordinal interval scale in addition to absolute zero, means there zero value is not included. So this ratio scale, we can identify the or classify the object, rank the objects, and compare interval and
वाचूनच दाखवतात हे लोक. हे कविता दह्या ह्याचे समजावून नाही.
Here in marketing, sales cost, marketing share, a number of customers are variable to be measured on the ratio scale. So in economics, income, inflation rate, exchange rate, population, or any other variable. 1 second, please. 1 second.
Dear participants, kindly mute your mics, please. It's my humble request.
Oops. Give me 1 minute, please. It's a blender here. Okay. Welcome back to me. And so let's start. This is a graphical presentation of all the scale that we have discussed. This first is representing the nominal, means it is giving the 7 number to the horse. Second is representing the ordinal, where show, place, when. It is representing the ordinal. Another one is representing interval, means 20 second and 1 second. So to win any race, they are here 1.0 second is the interval. Ratio is representing the minute of 59.25 seconds for 1 by 4 miles. So it is representing the scale that we have discussed. This is again the explanation of scale. Nothing else. The scaling is a technique that is again described here: comparative scale and non-comparative, paired comparison, rank order, constant, Q sort, other procedure, quantitative, continuous rating scale, itemized rating. So this is explanation for paired comparison scale, where it is a respondent that is presented on two objects and asked to select the one according to some criterion. The data obtained in the ordinal in nature, the respondent may state that he or she prefer Alker chocolate, Nestle like Mark, and ice cream better than Altida. Paired comparison are frequently used when stimulus objects are physical products. Coca-Cola is reported to have conducted more than 190,000 paired comparison before conducting new Coke. Example is comparing 4 different packages material by using 0 to 1 scale, where they preferring column 1 to row and preferring row to column. These are all are examples to make you understand. So here another one is rank order scaling. Rank order scaling is where respondents are presented with the several objects simultaneously and asked to order or rank them according to some criterion. Again, this is a order scaling, where we are giving the variables to the respondent and we are asking him or her to rank them according to their preference. Suppose here different variables are given and he is marking his response. Classification of the data, where brand A, B, C, D, 4 brands are given to respondent and he is giving mark to first, second, third, fourth. Scaling technique. Then another one is constant sum scaling technique. It is a respondent who is allocating the constant sum of units, such as points, among the set of stimulus objects with the respondent to some criterion. And example is given here. After that, this is the best example that here another is Q sort and other procedure. Q sort scaling was developed to discriminate among a relative large number of the objects quickly. This technique use rank order procedure. These are the different types of the scaling. I'm not saying you to use all these techniques, but these are here need to be discussed, as this is the research methodology focused session. So you need to be aware about all these techniques. Non-comparative sampling technique is a respondent where he is using a non-comparative sampling, employing whatever the rating standard seems appropriate to them. Even though here the best example for this is continuum rating scale, where this is also referred to the graphic rating scale. Respondents are rates are object by placing the mark at appropriate position on the line that runs from one extreme criterion variable to another one. Means as I told you during the session or starting the session, that scale is given to the respondent. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 means 5-point scale. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 means 7-point scale. 1, 2, 3 means 3-point scale. Maybe agree, not agree, or neutral. So this is the continuous rating scale. This is an example that is given you. Another one is itemized or Likert scale. Likert scale is Let me explain you Likert scale in detail. Likert scale is a widely used grading scale that requires the respondent to indicate the degree of agreement or disagreement with each series of the statement about the stimulus object. What is difference in between the Likert scale and 5-point scale? Suppose, let me explain you this in detail. Suppose you give the Likert scale. Okay, I am asking you that, okay, being a rural entrepreneur, do you have the problem of funds? Or do you have the problem of branding? Or do you have the problem of advertisement? Okay, this is problem. In opportunity, I am asking the same question. Okay, do you have opportunity to diversify your business? And he will click yes, very much. How is this possible when he is having the scarcity of fund? How he can diversify his business? So this is Likert scale, which is saying that, okay, ask one statement in one pattern and cross check or cross verify this statement with another variable or another statement. Two interrelated contradictory statements are placed in the questionnaire if you are using the Likert scale. Majority of the respondent or majority of the researcher are using 5-point scale, not Likert scale. Likert scale is saying when you are asking any question, any statement to the respondent, you need to cross check that in another way. Otherwise, you are not using Likert scale. Now, example. Systematic differential sampling. This is some kind of nth scaling or nth sample size selection. Staple scale. Let me explain. Staple scale, named after the developer Jan Staple, is a unipolar rating scale with 10 categories numbered -5 plus 5. There is the one difference in between Staple scale and Likert scale, where Likert scale is including 0 and Staple scale is not including 0. 5 plus 5 minus. It is excluding the 0. Now let's understand reliability and validity. These two things are very important. You cannot ignore. Reliability is, if I'm talking about, it refers to the extent to which the sample produce consistent result if repeated measurements are made. Means it is representing the validity of the scale. Scale, sample size selection, data collection. Reliability is representing that whatever scale you have developed, that is correct. If you are using the same scale or if you are using the same parameters again and again to measure these variables, result will be the same. That's why this is reliability. Suppose you are using the weighing scale for the weight measurement of the respondent. So if you are using any weighing scale for the weight measurement, then definitely this weighing scale need to be reliable. If this is not reliable, then what is usage of that data collection? The systematic source of error do not have an adverse impact on the reliability because they have effect the measurement in the constant way to do not lead to inconsistency. Reliability is also assessed by determining the proportion of systematic variation in scale. This is done by determining the association between the scored obtained from different administrative of the scale. Now let's understand how to develop the questionnaire. Where questionnaire is information to describe, compare, and explain the event, situation, as well as knowledge, attitude, behavior, socio-demographic characteristics of the target group. So, what before the design of the questionnaire, your topic first of all, who want to survey, the type of the information that you want, your budget, and how quickly you want that information. So these are the 10 different steps that you may follow or you need to follow. Identify what you want to cover in a survey. Put a question that are necessary. Keep it in shorter and simpler way. Ask one question at a time. Avoid using jargons, open-ended question or close-ended questions. Simple size or simple time to design your survey. Analyze the responses after collecting the data and put a summary report and conclude your action plan. So, procedure for the development is specify your information that will be sought. Determine the type of questionnaire and method of administration. Determine the content and individuality question. Determine the form of the responses for each question. Now, what are the different types of the questionnaire? Open-ended, close-ended. Open-ended is when you are giving the opportunity to the respondent to mark his or to give his response. More information, but difficult to codify, enter, and analyze. Definitely, he is having huge information in the mind, and you would face the problem of codifying that information. Even though it is very difficult to enter in the software and to analyze each and every statement, where closing question are very important for codification, for entering, for analysis purpose, but they are having the lesser information. These are close-ended and multiple types of questions. Again, these are common mistakes that you may conduct. What might be wrong in this question? Need to cover all the options. What is first drink you have today? Means what? This is the common mistake that you may ask. Means what? First drink you had today. So, what might be the wrong in this statement? What is your age group? So, means it is representing 0 to 18, 18 to 30, 30 to 35, 40 above. It is representing the 18 because it here respondent is becoming confused. It means if he's 18, then where to mark? Here or here? Here or here? If I'm having age of 30, then where to mark? 18 to 30 or 35, 30 to 30, 30 to 45. So it is somewhere easy to understand that okay, if I'm 18, then okay. If I'm 19, then okay. If I'm 30, then okay. If I'm 31, then okay. So these are common mistakes that you need to eliminate out of your study. Types of questionnaire are self-completed, interviewed, postal, electronic, face-to-face, telephonic. Self-completed are respondent completed on their own. Best design for measuring the variables, investigating the attitude, describing the characteristics, all these. Even though if I'm talking about computerized assistants or web-based, then way to create the self-administered questionnaire, marketing the researcher, find the responses rate increase. This is not across the board. Questionnaire can be sent via email. This is a new technique that you may use. Interview is representing then you are asking the statements from the respondent and you are writing it down according to your convenience. Telephonic interview, when you are asking the statements to from the respondent and you are marking
Dear participants, am I audible?
Yes, sir.
Yes, yes, sir.
Okay. Thank you, madam. Thank you, sir.
Yes,
Thank you,
sir.
sir. Thank you, madam. Thank you, madam.
Hello. Sir. Hello.
Yeah, just wait for a while, please.
Okay, so there is a disconnected. I think madam is not speaking.
Am I audible? Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, madam.
So, I completed my on research method. Having any query, then you ask. This is open and sorry for inconvenience because electricity went here and blender is coming out here. I'm not
Okay,
able to
madam.
connect with my Wi-Fi.
Okay, madam. No issues.
Queries through
Dear,
phone.
yeah. Dear participants, kindly
Yes, sir.
you can clarify your doubts through chat box or unmuting your mics. I repeat,
Yes.
the session is open for discussion. You can clarify your doubts through chat box or unmuting your mics.
Yes, definitely.
Hello.
Hello.
Good evening, ma'am.
Very good evening,
You
ma'am.
can hear me? Yeah. Ma'am, my question is that will you give me the example of ordinal scale and Likert scale? When and where to use in questionnaire? Suppose my
Yeah,
subject
definitely.
is
If I'm
marketing.
talking about the ordinal
Yeah.
scale, yeah. Suppose your subject is marketing. In that case, you are asking the preference for any brand or any product. Basically, suppose shampoo, you are asking for the preference. Suppose I'm not taking it as a formal example. Suppose I'm asking
Yeah, Jan.
why you
Fine.
are using Clinic. Why you are using Clinic Plus? So I'm giving the respondent, okay, quality, okay, quantity, okay, availability, okay, price, volume, okay, your place of living. So all these variables are given to the respondent, and I'm asking to the respondent, okay, you may order the things, price. He may or she may order according to his or her preference. No, so he's saying, suppose you are using the Clinic Plus, and I'm asking that, okay, why you are using Clinic Plus? You are saying that first reason is price, and another one may say, okay, the first reason is availability because the Clinic Plus is available to me at my retail outlet. And even though I'm not, I'm very much or I'm highly interested to use local shampoo, but that is not available to me. That's why I'm using Clinic Plus. So, according to his or her preference, he or she may order first to the price, availability, or the quantity that is given to that consumer.
Okay. And what about Likert scale?
Now, the same here or same question or same statement. I am asking that, okay, me your the preferring shampoo
I'm asking that case is available on 7-point scale. Okay, this product is available. He or she will answer. Means disturbance, ma'am. Properly, yeah.
Kavita madam.
So, lot of disturbance is there from ma'am's side, I think.
Yes.
So.
Yeah. Yeah, participants, you can clarify your doubts through chat box.
నువ్వే అత్తవానని చెప్తూ రోజు ఫోన్ చెప్తున్నావు నేను వస్తానని ఫోన్
So, is there any other query?
Yeah, madam, see the chat box.
Let me see.
Madam, shall I read it out?
Yeah, sir, because it is not visible to me, no?
Yes, because you rejoined, na? That's all.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, there is one question called what is FGD as you used in explanation. FGD. Kavita madam. Kavita madam. FGD.
Yes, sir. I think there is some. I'll explain this tomorrow.
Okay, madam, no issues. So with this, we'll stop here. You can clarify the doubts tomorrow also, madam. Speaker, madam. Okay. So with this, we'll stop here. And once again, we'll meet tomorrow virtually at 7 p.m. Okay.